Church of God World Missions has already established significant working relationships with Pentecostal and evangelical leaders, and have a progressive program ready to launch in many countries, which is already well underway in still others. Yet a few months ago, this wouldn't have seemed even remotely possible, as the Soviet Union ruled with the iron fist of communism. For 3/4 of a century, communism has left hundreds of millions of people morally and spiritually and economically bankrupt. In the evenings, the smell of coal smoke hangs like a shroud over gray, dilapidated cities, just as it did in the dark days following World War II. Despair is a lifestyle for millions. Despite the indoctrination of generations of school children into godless Marxism, despite torture, banishment, and even death, the church survived in power. For the past 75 years, there has been a lack of training, no real communication between the churches, almost no Bibles, no buildings in which to meet, almost no literature, no children's materials, no sense of direction, nothing. Nothing except a burning desire to serve Jesus Christ and to spread his gospel throughout their own homelands. With this vision firmly in mind, the Church of God World Missions Department has launched an aggressive new effort to minister in these nations. In Poland, the gospel is spreading rapidly. Here in Katowice, Poland's industrial and agricultural center, the Church of God is vibrant and growing. Located in the heart of a growing residential area, the church has already begun construction of an expansive new sanctuary for 2,500 worshipers. In Bulgaria, revival is on. At this congregation in the capital city of Sofia, the Christians bring their friends by the score to this thriving, growing Church of God, which just a few short months before had been illegal to even mention. But some of the measures used against Church of God people were brutal. Church of God leaders went recently into the heart of the bastion of communism, into Moscow, Russia. They established a warm relationship with Pentecostal leaders of the underground church. Leaders of Church of God World Missions were astonished at what they found: a vibrant, growing, victorious church of more than 300,000 Spirit-filled Christians, and leaders whose lives and testimonies have been tempered with the fires of tribulation. From thousands of miles away, more than 150 Soviet Pentecostal pastors traveled across the Soviet Union, some riding trains for 3 days, to attend a powerful one-day school of ministry hosted by Church of God World Missions. Their hunger for spiritual knowledge was almost insatiable. Fresh in their memories were living testimonies of how it was in the recent dark times. This pastor spent 28 years in prison for the crime of preaching the gospel. It was the intention of the communist prison commandant to burn this pastor alive. After pouring gasoline on the pastor, the matches and lighters refused to ignite. Despite the brutal oppression in every nation of Eastern Europe and the Soviet bloc countries, people are seeking God. Throughout the communist world, and indeed much of the rest of the world, Christians have been interceding for years that the doors would open. Now, the doors are open. Thousands pack the services. An unprecedented revival is on. Rivers and streams are crowded with a multitude of new converts, eager to be baptized in water. The underground house churches are packed with new converts, hungry for more understanding of their newly found Pentecostal faith. Some 14,000 people jammed an ice hockey arena to hear the gospel with very little advance publicity. Hundreds were born again. Invited primarily through word of mouth, first-time attenders see for themselves the reality of the Christian faith, against which they have been taught all their lives. the Holy Spirit confirms deep inside each person that He is ready to help them find a new life of peace and wholeness. But church leaders throughout the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe sense that the door may be open only for a short time. So much is at stake. So little time remains. The door is open. For just how long, no one can be absolutely certain. God has placed before us an open door of opportunity through which the Church of God must walk with urgent diligence. With your help, the Church of God will walk through the open door and will launch a 7-point program toward evangelizing the 500 million souls of Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union. The harvest is indeed ripe.
Directly behind me is a cathedral. It's been turned into a museum. Some would tell you that it's a monument to a dead church, a relic that belongs to another age, but don't you believe it? We've been meeting with church leaders, and we've discovered there are hundreds of thousands of Pentecostal believers here. They're involved in evangelism. They're conducting street services, door-to-door witnessing, conducting services in jailhouses and in hospitals. God is blessing. The door is open. We don't know how long the door will stay open. They're saying they need Bibles, they need tools of evangelism, they need materials, they need literature, they need many things. While the door is open, we must respond. As I look around Red Square and I look at the cathedral, I don't see a relic of the past. I don't see a monument to a dead church. I see a lone sentinel, a witness to the thousands of people who come by, saying that God is on the throne and the church is alive in Russia.